Hello, welcome back to Reads of an Apple. I am excited today to talk about new releases that are coming out in the last 3 months of 2023, quarter four. We're talking October, November, and December. Now, if you have seen my new release videos before, typically I try to have a lot of new releases that I mention, and I have 2 graphics for each month. However, I don't know if it's just end of the year stuff or things haven't been announced, but hi. Nice. Cheese says hello. Anyway, there hasn't been very many books announced of authors that I follow as of now. For November and December, those were very light. There is a lot of books that have been announced, but not necessarily ones that I'm either caught up in the series, so I'm really excited for the next book out, or are series that I'm interested in starting, but I haven't started them yet, so I don't know if I can consider later books in the series an anticipated release specifically. So my lists for November and December were pretty short, and instead of doing like a graphic and a half or doing 2 smaller graphics for them, I was like, you know what, we're just gonna keep it short and sweet, hopefully for once, and do 1 graphic, 1 full graphic for each month, which means we will have 8, and then I have a couple I'm gonna throw in for fun at the end of the video. So are you ready? She's very excited. I just got home from work not too long ago, so she has gotten her first dinner and now she wants my attention because why not? So let's just jump into it. Here is October's graphic. So bye to the kitty. All right, so on October 3rd, we have The Phantom of Drury Lane. This is by Kate Bateman. This is a part of a multi-author series. I believe they're releasing like once a week or once every other week or something like that. So this is technically the 5th book in the series, and it's all set on this Drury Lane. However, I think because it's multi-authors, you can definitely read them as standalone. I'm very intrigued by this one because it is inspired or has similar vibes to like Phantom of the Opera. I believe this is supposed to be, if not a novella, then at least a shorter length book, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to think back to when she announced it in her newsletter, but I'm very excited for this one, and I'm hoping to pick it up hopefully pretty soon after release, but we will see. My reading has definitely slowed way down the last couple months, so we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to read it. Then we have the first debut book I'm going to mention in this video, and that is going to be The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzin. This is the first book in her Hurricane War series. This is, I think it was new adult YA or new adult fantasy, but it's fantasy set, and of course we've got like the rejected heroine who's, evil, bad against whatever regime is currently happening. However, it's like this disparity of magics. So she is very powerful in shadow magic, I believe. And then the prince of the current ruler, it has light magic, and his family all has light magic. And when they are fighting a war or a battle or something happens, he comes across our heroine who has shadow magic. So then he knows she is a part of the family, clan, some sort of situation, grouping of people that, was the cause, assisted, or something his grandfather's death. But they're going to have to team up together, probably because his father is not a good person, because that's how it usually goes. But I'm very intrigued with like the whole shadow and light magic opposites kind of pushing. it's called Hurricane Wars. So I don't know if we're going to do like ship stuff or ocean-based things. There's a pirate ship on the cover. I think the cover looks really pretty. So I don't know. I'm just intrigued on the premise and the cover, and it's always exciting to find a debut author. And I have definitely pushed myself to read a lot of new authors this year, and I'm trying to read a lot of debut books, specifically, not as much from 2023, but I am excited because I want to try to pick up more debut authors from 2023. But yeah, I don't know. I read the blurb a couple months ago and I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting. So yeah, I'm intrigued. Then also on October 3rd, we have Volume 5 of Lore Olympus is dropping. This is the Barnes & Noble special edition cover. I love Lore Olympus. I read it as a webtoon and I just love it. And I can't wait to own more of it in paperback and hardback, because I get the normal edition in paperback and I get the Barnes & Noble edition in hardback because they're absolutely gorgeous and I want all the artwork. Then we have October 12th, Obsession Falls by Claire Kingsley. This is the first book in her Haven Brothers series. I cannot wait. Her Bailey Brothers series is one of my favorites. I mean, Claire Kingsley is one of my favorite contemporary authors, period. But this is the spinoff to the Bailey's Brothers, which was a spinoff to the Miles family. But this universe is continuing. I cannot wait. She's been teasing in the newsletters which brother it is, but I have stayed away from spoilers. I think I saw it was Josiah, but I'm not reading any of like the sneak peeks, the chapter previews, anything. I want to go in as blind as possible. All I know is it's a Haven brother, and these will, and I think she said this series, or I don't know if it's the specific book or all of this series, but that we will kind of be getting back into the more romantic suspense contemporaries. But I'm excited. New Claire Kingsley, Haven Brothers. I'm here for it. I don't need more. Then on the 13th, we also have 2 releases from 2 more of my favorite authors. This is actually a pretty big favorite author month. So on the 13th, we have Hopeless by Elsie Sever. This is going to be the final book in her Chestnut Springs series. I am behind in this series, but Elsie is one of my favorite authors. I definitely still have a soft spot, if I am honest, for the Frontrunner series, Gold Rush Ranch series. Off to the Races and the Frontrunner still are like peak for me. I have given almost all of her books 5 stars though, so even if it's not a top tier for me, it's still going to be a good book. So I'm intrigued to see where this one goes. And I still need to read the previous book, which is Reckless. I still need to read Reckless, but things have just gotten away from me the last couple months reading-wise. But hopefully I will be able to catch up and read these maybe in the month of October. We'll see. There's a lot going on. So also on the 13th, we have Alessa Thorne's new book, starting a new series, and not connected with anything else. She is starting a new universe, which, I mean, her other books series and interconnected series are already so massive. I love Alessa Thorne. I know if you've been here, you know every time I talk about her, I tend to gush about her. I'm going to try not to, but she is one of my favorite indie authors. All of her stuff is in KU. She just has, she gives me everything I want in like a quicker, shorter. She's mostly in the like 200 to 250. So I feel like she's longer than a novella, but she's definitely shorter books. I just love her series. I love her as a person. She just started a Ream and I joined that. And already I am just obsessed with all the sneak peeks that she's giving us. There's a vampire story that she's posting chapters of that I am like waiting until I have more. I read the first chapter and I was like, this isn't good, because so now I want to wait until I have like a backlog of chapters so that I can read them. But I love Alessa Thorne. I feel like earlier this year, maybe even at the end of last year, she was talking about Gargoyles, the old like 90s cartoon, and she posted something one day on her Instagram story like, what if I wrote like a gargoyle book? And everyone was like, yes, 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 yes. We will write anything your brain thinks of, or we will read anything your brain thinks of. So here we go. Gargoyle book. This is the first book in her Feather and Stone series. It's gargoyles inspired. And I think she said it was like the Swan Princess. It's a fairy tale. One of the Swan fairy tales inspired as well. So like I said, I'm avoiding chapter sneak peeks. I think I kind of glanced at the blurb. I looked at the like, this is the Feather and Stone, blah, blah, blah. Like when it's like gargoyles and whatever the fairy tale was inspired, I saw that and I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to spoil myself. I want to go in blind, especially since this is a new universe. I'm obsessed with Alessa Thorne, and already I've gone on longer than I wanted to, but I just can't help it. I just love her books so much. So if you haven't read Alessa Thorne, please read Alessa Thorne. She does mostly contemporary, or not contemporary, paranormal and fantasy romance, and they are just all chef's kiss to me. Plus, she's very bingeable, so warning you there. Then on the 24th, we have one of my favorite fantasy authors with one of my favorite fantasy series of all time. We are getting book 7, When a Dragon Falls. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I have talked about this series a lot. I read the first book, and then I reread the first book before the second book came out. And then I reread the first 2 when the third book came out. And I have done the same since. However, I stopped at book 5. I never read book 5 because at the time, there was 5 main heroines that we meet in the first book. And I was like, this is going to be the last book in the series. I didn't want the series to end. I still have not read it. My plan has been to reread the series this year. Still haven't started it. But since then we have gotten a 6th book. So I was like, okay, I can finally read book 5. And then I know there's at least 1 book in the series, and now we have a book 7. So, because every time a new book comes out, I like to reread the series. I definitely want to reread the first 4 books and then read book 5 and 6. And then we have book 7 coming out. I know that book 6 and 7, I think, I haven't looked too much into it, but I think they're the children of the like couples from the first books. If you look at her books, the first 3 books have like old school fantasy sexy men on the cover, and then she ended up changing publishers. So books 5 or 4 forward have this more artworky style. So the first 3 books are technically the Embraced by Magic series, and now this is just the Embrace series. But altogether, this is book 7 in both series combined. But I love it. I definitely want to reread them. I've had this pre-ordered since I could in like May or something like that. So I'm excited it's finally here, and I cannot wait to see it in person. Then my final book for October that I want to talk about is The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. This is the first book in her new Campus Diary series. And these are children, or it's like a future generation of her Deal series. And I think also the Campus, I think it's Campus U. I still haven't read that other one. So this is going to be new adult sports romance kind of college set, which I don't really read much of anymore, but the fact that it's going back to her Deal series, I'm definitely intrigued. The cover is giving me baseball romance, though, so I don't know if we're going to still be in the hockey realm or if it is baseball. Once again, didn't read the blurb. I just saw in her announcement that it is like the daughter of one of the couples from the Deal series. It's not called the Deal series. The first book is just the Deal. I don't know if they say on the spine. They don't say on the spine. But anyway, I'm super excited for it. So my only disappointment is this cover, because she had such gorgeous man and then the girl covers for Off Campus. That's what it's called, the Off Campus series. And then University U, Campus U, something like that, whatever the other one is. And now there are all these, she's just, I get it, this is the thing, but I'm not a fan of these covers. If we're gonna do cartoony drawn covers, like, give me like a face, please. Give me a face. Give me something gorgeous like this, because these are sitting here. Give me something gorgeous artwork, not whatever these no face blocky cartoon characters are. I'm not a fan. But anyway, let's move on to November before I completely go off rail here. On November 1st, we have the second book released by Erin Langston. She is a new historical author. Her debut was earlier this year, but this is her winter Christmas time novella, Some Winter's Evening. I will probably wait and read this closer to Christmas in December, but I'm super excited to see what she can do with a novella. Then on November 7th, we have Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Now, this is going to be YA. I am a fan of the Ali Hazelwoods I have read, but even though this is YA, I'm super intrigued because it's like going to be set around like chess. And I mean, obviously you could probably tell from the cover. And I remember reading the blurb when she announced it way back then. And I was like, you know what? It sounds cute enough that I'm willing to try. And I enjoy the way that she writes. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. You know what? I've been reading more and more YA lately, which is really weird, but I will definitely want to pick up this book because I also think the cover is super cute. Like, this is the type of like cartoon illustrated covers I would like, please. Then, so on the 7th, we have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the second book in her Imperium series. I'm super excited. I will probably be picking this up pretty close to when it comes out, so I can kind of beat the hype, because there has been so much hype for Fourth Wing, or hype up for Fourth Wing, that I definitely don't want to be spoiled. I mean, I kind of stay off social media a lot as it is, but I don't want to accidentally get spoiled for this book or anything like that. So I'll probably try to pick it up as soon as I can, just to avoid any spoilers or anything like that. And then I wanted to kind of throw a new author out to me, and that is going to be Anna Lowe. She is starting the Sherwood Forest Shifters books, which are all supposed to be like Robin Hood inspired. And the first book is going to be Tempting the Sheriff. The second book also comes out in November, and then I think the third book comes out in December. I don't know if there's any more planned past those, so it sounds like she might have the first 3 at least already written and done. So I don't know. I'm excited to try it. Based on the cover, it might be like a fox shifter, but I don't know, like the Robin Hood retelling and paranormal romance. I mean, the Disney Robin Hood has foxes anyway, so I don't know if it's going to be a mashup kind of a thing, but I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I will definitely want to check it out. Then, November 14th, we have The Obscurity in Wishing. This is the 6th and final book in M.L. Philpitt's Fractured Ever After series. This is Aladdin inspired, which I had guessed shortly before she announced it, because when I was reading one of the other books, I was like, oh my gosh, Yasmin. I was like, wait, Jasmine. Oh my gosh, is it going to be Aladdin inspired? I still have not read book 5. Book 5 just released recently. I'm excited. I'm so excited, but I'm going to be so sad that this series is going to end. But I have enjoyed my ride. If you have not heard me gush about M.L. Philpitt, she is one of my new favorite authors that I have found this year. I am completely obsessed with her. I have wrecked it to so many people. One of them actually read the book, and then read book 2 immediately, and then was in a book hangover and was like, I both love you and hate you. And I felt so happy that like someone actually loved a book that I wrecked. And then I was like, you just got to read book 3. You just have to. I was also kind of in a slump. And if I didn't like pick up like Alona Andrews or one of my other favorite authors immediately, I probably would have gotten in a slump. But I was like, you just got to read book 3. You just got to keep going. And then she sent me a message a couple days ago and was like, I started book 3. And I was like, finally. I was like, just give in. It's what you want to read. I know we might have other plans. We might have other obligations. Just pick it up. Although she goes through a lot more books than I do, especially as of late. But I was just super excited that rec that I had, actually, like, someone loved it and gave it 5 stars, and it just made me feel good, because I feel like I recommend stuff, but I don't always hear back from people if they liked it or not. And I don't know, it just made me happy. So, a side note, if you have read a book that I've recced or loved or talked about on here, let me know, because I would love to know if you loved a book that I also loved, or I'm like trying to hype up. But anyway, I will say, because I plug this every time I talk about ML Philpott, I read the first 2 books for the Mafia Romance Readathon back in May of this year. I did vlog it, so I will pop the link up there. But please read ML Philpott if you like fairy tale retellings and if you enjoy mafia/dark romance. She is absolutely amazing. So, also on the 14th, another favorite of mine, who is a newer fantasy author, Megan Van Dyke, she is releasing Captive of the Stolen Empire. Now, what's interesting is this book used to have a different name, and it was actually the first book she wrote, and this was the book that she tried to get published. But she ended up publishing Second Star to the Left first. But now that she has, a couple different series under her belt, she's gone back. I guess she's rewritten or reworked some of the stuff about it, retitled it, and now she is going to be releasing Captain of the Stolen Empire. I'm super excited for it. I am a big fan of Megan Van Dyke's fantasy romances. They're super fun. Like I said, she's a newer author, so I love being able to kind of hype them from the beginning. And I'm excited to see what this is, because this was the book that gave her, the push to be like, I can do this. I would like to publish this book. It wasn't the one that got her published, but the fact that she felt so proudly of this book to have it be the one to finally reach out and start thinking about publishing her works. I don't know. It's just, it's a really exciting moment for her, and I'm really happy about it, and I can't wait to read it. Then, speaking of favorite authors, this is just a favorite authors release video, I guess. On November 28th, and I just saw the next one on the list too. We're just going to keep going. November 28th, we have Shelley Lawrenson is releasing Honey Badger Chronicles book number 5, Born to be Badger. I haven't started this series, but this is a spin-off series to her Pride series. Shelley Lawrenson also writes as G.A. Aiken, which has written another one of my favorite fantasy series, Dragonkin. She has the Scarred Earth saga happening right now, which is supposed to be a spin-off of that. But her more paranormal romance, she writes under Shelley Lawrenson. This is a spin-off of the Pride series. I've read I have up until until she started the Honey Badger Chronicles, I had her entire backlist read. She is one of my favorite authors. I have all of the Honey Badger Chronicle books because, I was buying them as they came out. So I'm excited to maybe finally start this, but we've got another book. This one has a tiger on the front and a white tiger. So I don't know if we're getting back to some of the white tiger Russian shifters that she has in the Pride series, but let me tell you, I love her Pride series, but I am excited for more Shelley Lawrenson / G.A. Aiken. I'll take anything that she writes as well. Then, probably one of my top, especially current writing historical romance authors, Vivienne Lorette is releasing It Had to Be a Duke. This is the first book in her new series, The Liars Club. I've not been so good at rereading her entire backlist. I have gone through probably half of her backlist, either rereading or reading for the first time in anticipation of this, but I cannot wait. I have been so hyped for this book. I've talked about it, I feel like, since I read whatever the last book in the Mating Habits of Scoundrels series is. All I can think of is It Had to Be a Duke, but that was not the name of the other book. That's the name of this new book. But I knew coming into it, because when I got that book, I immediately flipped to the end to see if she had a little teaser like coming soon, coming at the end of the year, like what the next book announced is. And then I saw it had to be a Duke coming in at the end of 2023. And it was going to be book 1 in her Liars Club. And then when I was actually reading the book, there was a reference to the Liars Club and the family that's like called the Liars Club. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's dropping hints. So I'm very excited. I don't quite know how it connects. Once again, I'm not reading blurbs. I'm not reading any teasers, anything like that. I will read anything Vivian Leroux writes. The way that she writes her historical romances just hits me in my core. I always get swept in by the end of the first page, and I just cannot wait to see what she has in store for us with this new series and meet new people. And we'll also probably get little hints and Easter eggs and background of characters from her previous series too, because she loves to do that. But yeah, I'm just really excited. Another favorite heavy month of November. So I don't know when I'm going to read all these books. I really don't. Okay. December. Let's go to December, our last one. Now, funnily enough, most of these are new to me authors that I have on my anticipated releases. So who knows what happened there, but let's just jump into it. On December 5th, we have Sky of Thorns by Fleur de Villani. This is the first book in her Vandeleur trilogy. This is fantasy romance. I can't remember if it's YA or new adult. But when I started to read the blurb, our heroine is a unicorn shifter who is trapped in the dungeon of this rival kingdom, and it is her romance with the prince of this rival kingdom, where she is being held captive. I mean, you had me at unicorn shifter, but I'm intrigued. That's all I needed. I'm intrigued. That's all I have for you. Unicorn shifter. Okay, on to another book that is releasing on the 5th. This is going to be The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. Her debut book was The Nanny. Although I'm not super into nanny romances, so I haven't read it, but I'm very intrigued by this. Seems like it's going to kind of follow the contemporary rom-com-y feel of a paranormal. Fake mates, so I think they're werewolf shifters who are fake dating kind of a situation. But I saw Esther on Instagram read, I think, a beta version of this a long time ago. Absolutely loved it. Put Lana on my radar, and I have been very intrigued in this book since. Then, also on the 5th, we have the Kate Robbs debut book, This Spells Love. Another kind of rom-com-y paranormal one. So this one was really intriguing to me. So the heroine goes through a really bad breakup, and she does a spell, and I can't remember if it's like a turn back time or a forgetting spell or something like that. But she's either trying to forget the old guy or make the old guy fall in love with her, or she forgets all her pain from this bad breakup, something along that line. But she's targeting specifically the relationship with her recent ex. However, something goes kaflooey, and her whole entire world changes, including her best friend, who is a guy, also forgets her, or they're not friends any longer. And so this is a reconnection and friends to lovers romance. I don't know, the premise just sounded really interesting to me, that she, is going to have to work back her best friend's friendship, and then they also fall in love at the same time. So I don't know, I just thought I like books where a magic spell kind of goes kaflooey. Yeah, I'm super intrigued, and it's a debut book, so I'm like, hey, let's get to it. I'm excited to try another debut author. And then we have probably one of the debut books that I have been most excited I saw this book listed when I looked at 2023 debut authors like online or something like that. This was listed. Didn't have a date for it. It's been on my list since like January of February this year. We finally have a date. There's officially a cover now, although we've had a cover for a couple months. I just haven't talked about it. But Raiders of the Lost Heart by Jo Segura. This is the first book in her archaeology series. Archaeology, Raiders of the Lost Heart, romance, Indiana Jones, archaeology. That's right up my alley. That is just right up my alley. Super excited. I have also seen that there is going to be an archaeology book too. No information, but I have seen somewhere that listed TBA Archaeology Book 2 by Jo Segura. And I was like, okay, so it's already on my 2024 question mark that there is going to be an archaeology book 2. So I'm already excited for book 2 when book 1 isn't even out yet, but I don't know. And once again, these are the type of illustrated covers that I would prefer to see over the weird blocky no face ones, but I'm excited. I hope it lives up to the hype that's in my own head. I haven't seen much hype about the book at all outside of whatever excitement is in my brain. Then we have on the 12th Game On by Ceresia Glass. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she wrote The Love Con, which is still on my TBR. But I saw that this one was coming out. And what I think is really fun about this one, I know the other one is about like cosplay and stuff. So she's definitely writing nerdy set books, like with nerdy characters, which I'm a nerd. I am here for that. But this one, and she's also, a POC author, which is great, a BIPOC author. But this one, we have a BIPOC heroine who does like video game reviews. It sounds kind of like she's like basically a video game YouTuber who's pretty popular. And when she plays a new game, she has some not very nice things to say about it for the representation of women and also possibly disabilities. And ends up kind of blasting this game. And then a lot of other women gamer influencers, reviewers, other women who are in the industry are like, yeah, we're all gonna join in solidarity because we agree. Nobody just has had the guts to kind of stand up to this company, it sounds like, or call this company out on what was kind of going on. And she ends up getting hired by the CEO of this company who's creating the game. And I'm guessing it's their love story. So we've got nerd stuff. We've got, I guess maybe disability representation, at least women of color representation. I don't know. I'm a nerd and I'm here for it. And I'm super excited to read this. I might try to pick up the Love Con first, but I really, really want to read her books because they just sound like they cover the topics that are right up my alley and are things that I enjoy. So very excited for that. Then we have The Stage Kiss by Amelia Jones. This is also coming out on the 12th. This is also a new author to me. And this one is like, it sounds like it might be off Broadway or like a traveling Broadway show, but they're doing like Pride and Prejudice musical edition. And it is going to be, the heroine has to step in as playing Elizabeth's role, and everyone talks about how the actor playing Darcy is like one of the best stage actors to work for. He's super nice. No one has a bad thing to say about him, but he rubs her the wrong way, and they fall in love while doing this touring musical. So once again, musicals, Pride and Prejudice, I'm here for it. Then on the 19th, we have a novella coming out by Eloisa James called Two Dances and a Duke. This is the first book in her Seduction series. It also says the second novella is also coming out on the same day, but I haven't seen like a pre-order or anything for it, so I don't know exactly what it is. I just saw on the releases that people are excited for in December, and I was like, ooh, a new Eloisa James. I'm excited for that. So I don't know what it's going to be. It's a novella. It's coming out around Christmas time, so I don't know if it's going to be a holiday, Christmas, New Year kind of set, or if it's just a random novella, but I'll read anything Eloisa James writes. And then the final one I have for December 26th is the start of Kate Bateman's new series. Yes, Kate Bateman ended up on my new releases video twice this time. And this is going to be Second Duke's the Charm. It's the first in her new series, Her Majesty's Rebels. Once again, she has a gorgeous cover. I didn't read the blurb or anything. I was just like, Her Majesty's Rebels. I saw it had something to do with like spies or former spies or something like that. But I think that Kate Bateman has been killing it recently, especially for like her last couple series that she's released. So I'm excited to read more from her, and I think this cover is gorgeous, and I love that she is sticking with the clinched covers. We need more historical authors to stick with the clinched covers. Please and thank you. So that's it. Those are my 3 graphics for new releases, and somehow we're still at 35 minutes, even though I have done half of what I normally do for each month. So I don't know, but a lot of favorite authors, a lot of talking. Okay, so the last little thing I want to mention is going to be books that will be rereads for me, but I just kind of want to highlight. We have quite a few graphic audios that have been announced recently or posted on their website. More specifically, not all of them have been like officially announced on their Instagram and stuff, but we have on October 16th, the second part of 2 of A Court of Silver Flames is coming out. This is ACOTAR book 4. I've been waiting to listen to part 1 until part 2 is out. So once this hits Hoopla, I will be checking it out and rereading these books. Cannot wait, especially in time for Crescent City 3, which comes out at the end of January. Like, that is primo time. Then we also have another book 4, Kate Daniels book 4, which is Magic Bleeds. This is supposed to drop November 1st. So once again, as soon as they hit Hoopla, I will be rereading. These are so much fun going back and rereading them via graphic audio, and this one should all be in one part. I can't remember. There might be some current POVs associated with this. They have been adding the current POVs and like bonus chapters that Alona Andrew has for this series included at the end of these graphic novels. So if there is some current POVs or bonus POVs, they have been including them as well, which is fun. Then on December 5th, we have part 1 of 2, Fourth Wing. More Rebecca Yarros. But Fourth Wing is coming to graphic audio, which is super exciting. It's a little sad that it's not going to be out in time for the release of Iron Flame, but that's okay. I believe the second part comes out in January or February of 2024. So I'll wait until both parts are out before I listen to it. But if you didn't hear, Fourth Wing is coming to graphic audio, so that's exciting. Then, dropping December 20th, we have part 1 of 2 for House of Earth and Blood. We officially have Crescent City is coming to graphic audio. There hasn't, like I said, we haven't gotten like an official announcement or anything. It still doesn't have a cover as of now, but I cannot wait. And then I believe the second part is coming in the first quarter of 2024. Now, this isn't technically 2023, but I will also throw out, they have also posted Throne of Glass. Book 1 of her Throne of Glass series is also coming out early 2024. So I have been wanting and begging and pleading the universe to have Throne of Glass in graphic audio. So I've been wanting to reread some of those books anyway. a lot quicker than they're probably going to release in graphic audio, but I will be rereading that series as well in graphic audio. So fun graphic audio announcements. If you haven't read a graphic audio, I think they are great. Hoopla has them. If your library is set up with Hoopla, they're just so much fun. They are audiobooks with full casts for every character. Even little tiny side characters will have a different voice or a different voice actor. It's got music. It's got sound effects. They just elevate reading to a whole new experience, and I love them to death. So I will link Graphic Audio's website down below if you'd like to check them out. They do a lot of fantasy and paranormal romances, plus just straight fantasy sci-fi books. They have a lot of the Rogue Angels books by Alex Archer in graphic audio, which I've been wanting to reread that series. I have most of them here. That's this giant group of yellow books there. That's the Rogue Angel series. I've been wanting to reread it because when I was putting that bookshelf up, I was like, oh my gosh, Rogue Angel, I haven't read it in forever. There is a light romantic element throughout the series. It's not the main plot though. But I've been thinking about picking those up on graphic audio too. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy graphic audio. So if you haven't taken the plunge, I highly recommend it. Even if you aren't a normal audiobook listener, my favorite is to read a book and listen to the audiobook because you just really get fully immersed in what's going on, especially when it's a fantasy series. So highly recommend. All right. I think that's it. We're going to stop there. I'm going to stop rambling at you. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you are excited for any of these, if you hadn't heard of any of these, what you're excited for the final months of 2023. I can't believe we're already almost to Q4. It is completely bonkers. I feel like every year things just get quicker and quicker as I go along and get older. But if you'd like to just leave me an emoji below, leave me pick one. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Pick a favorite holiday from the last 3 months and leave me an emoji related to that. But otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon with another video.